Hi there, Tansy here. Today we'll crochet this hat with those little balconies here. I call them balconies, and I actually googled the term, and there is a curved balcony called in French a Juliette or balconette. So Juliette balcony or Juliette's. That's what are we doing today. For this hat, I used medium 4-weight yarn, and that produced beautiful stitches, and the hat went very fast since we were using a thicker yarn and 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. That was recommended on the label. That's what I used. So the band for the hat is just a single crochets back and forth to create that ribbing, and on top we just go in circles, but we go back and forth in circles. I'm using 100% acrylic yarn, and the label recommends to use 5.5 crochet hook for that. It is a 4-weight medium yarn, and it's pretty good size and material. I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby, and it's super soft. It's also made in Turkey in color Desert Glaze, and let's get started. I'm also using 4.5 millimeter crochet hook and the 5.5 the way it was recommended on the label. And now you'll see why I'm using a smaller one as well. Alright, so let's start with it. First, we'll do the band of the hat, and that's the reason I'm using a smaller crochet hook for that. But with the 5.5, I will do the first 10 chains. Alright, so we do a slip knot and then chain 10. Alright, so now I'll switch to my smaller hook. So from here we already have chain 10, so we'll have 10 stitches to work with, and I'll chain 1, which we will not count as a stitch. So into the second chain from the hook we'll do single crochets all the way till the end, and then we'll be ready to go. Or of course you can make that band for your hat as wide as you want. So you can measure on your forehead and you can decide any length. It could be shorter, it could be longer. It's really up to you. Okay, so now we turn, we chain 1, and then into that first stitch, into the base of this stitch, we'll do single crochet, and then we'll keep working into the back loop only. So we will work single crochets into the back loops of all these stitches. So when you count them, you should have 10 loops, back loops here. And don't forget that last one, because it's just hidden into that turn. So you will be able to see the last stitch here. It's here, right here on top, and we'll go into the back loop of it. All right, we are ready with this row. We turn, chain 1, and into the base of that first stitch we'll go into it. And then we'll keep going and working into the back loops of all these stitches. And that's how it creates those ridges that look like a ribbing for our band. All right, and I'll meet you when I'm done with the length. All right, so here I am back, and that's good enough for me. And when stretched, it gets a little bit longer. So make sure you measure it. So let's connect those sides together. And that's the reason using a smaller hook here. We want it a little bit tighter. Those stitches to be a little bit tighter. Since we have so much stretch, we can go with a smaller hook here. We will use those back loops to connect to the other side. So make sure you end up with, when you connect your front, when you connect your beginning till the end, make sure they end up on opposite sides. So when you connect them like this was the right side of the stitch, and this is the back side of those stitches. So when you connect them, they will still follow that pattern, and we'll try to make it in as much as invisible as we can. So the second loop, the back loop here, it's actually the top loop that I'll be able to see. So I will grab one side from here and one side from the front here, from that loop, the top loop, and the loop from the other side, and I'll just do slip stitches. Then I'll pick the next top loop, or this is the back loop for the other side, and then one loop from the other side as well. Okay, one loop from my side and one loop from the other side. Then I'll do slip stitches here. So when I look on this side, they look okay. All right. And we keep going with all these loops till the end. Don't make it too tight because we still want them to match the sides without bunching up. So we are done with connecting both ends of the band, and now we are ready to start building our pattern, our motifs. So in order for the first row, we will do only double crochets, but those double crochets, we want the back side of the double crochet to be the front side or the right side of your hat. So I will be going and crocheting my double crochets. So this row will be only double crochets. And I will go into each stitch plus one more so I can avoid all the holes that are appearing here. So I'll grab one. So into that first stitch, I will find the space and make sure I go into it with trying not to have holes there. So here's my first double crochet. So into that next stitch, that's actually this line here, I will try to find the middle of it and grab yarn and pull through those holes, but without making them too big. So now that I have that big hole, I'll grab one strand here from that little side. Oh, and what I had to do here is switch to my 5.5 crochet hook now. So that's okay, I can switch it in the middle, not a big deal. As a friend of mine would say, there is no stitch police, so you can do whatever you want with your project. Alright, so I'll grab here, yarn over for the double crochet, and I'll grab one of those strands. I'll go into the middle, they're kind of twisted. So I'll grab one of them and I will do a double crochet through there. Okay, and then I'll try to do one more into that strand. So I will have two double crochets between those ridges. So I'll keep going into that top one. Let's see. Yep, I was able to go into this side without creating that hole. And now I'll go into this middle. And then I'll grab one more. Okay, so, and I'll put one more over here. And that will make a big hole, so I will grab one more strand from the side to give me a better support for that stitch. All right, so from here you can see that those are the front of my double crochets, but actually the right side of my hat will be this one. So this is how it will be sitting on my head. And we keep going all the way around with those double crochets. And that color actually shows very nice on, at least on my camera right now. And it's such a cute color. It's fall color, but fall will come, so it's not too early to prepare those hats or start on your Christmas presents. And it will be there in no time. I also keep knitted hats in the back of my car because there's so many cars, like the color of the car is so popular, and this car is also very popular as a model. It's like, which car is my car in the parking lot? So I keep a knitted hat in the back and I can recognize my car. So even if I don't wear the hats in the winter, I always have one. And if I accidentally need a hat, they're all there in the back of my car. So there. And it's okay if you have more stitches and they feel like they're too much, because when you stretch your hat, they actually will not be bunching up like that. So if you measured it well on your head, you want it to be tight around your ears. When you stretch it just enough, those stitches will not gonna be bunching up. That's why I'm putting an extra stitch in between the posts here. All right, and I'll meet you at the end for the next row. Okay, so here I am at the end of my row, and I'll make my last double crochet somewhere here so I don't have a big hole. And make sure you keep your tail on this side because this is actually the inside of your hat. So I will put it inside out because I want the front side of the back of the stitches to be on my front side. So here it is. So if we are looking inside the hat, that's where I am. And I will connect to the beginning of my row here. I'll go into that top chain. I'll put a slip stitch through it, and that's it. And now I will flip to the front of my hat. I'll be working at the right side of the hat. And on the row where I need to do only double crochets, I will be working from the inside of the hat. And I will connect, and then I will turn my hat and go in the opposite direction. So even though we're gonna be going in a circle, it's still gonna be on opposite sides. So we chain 2 for this second row, and then we will go into the back post of each stitch with a double crochet. So yarn over one time, go into the back post of the next double crochet, pull through one time, and you keep the loop on your hook. And then we'll do this for a total of 6 stitches. So we'll do it five more times. We'll go through the back loop of the stitch, pull through one time through the first 2 loops, and you keep the new stitch on your hook. Yarn over, go through the back post of your double crochet, pull through the 2 loops, keep it on your hook. Yarn over through the back loop, pull through, and keep it on your hook. Let's see how many we have. So the first loop is from your chain, so we don't count that one. So we have 4 so far, and we need 2 more. Go through that double crochet, and if you count your stitches, we have 5 stitches right now from the previous row. Yarn over, and this is our last one. Pull through, and now we have all the stitches now waiting on our hook. We'll yarn over one more time, and we'll pull through all of them, and then we'll lock them with a chain. So there it is. This is our motif here, and we will do this till the end. And when you are doing those double crochets here, if you want to go back and count them, they should be the number that's divisible by 6. But because there's no really any stitch police, we'll just go and see how I'll end up at the end, and we'll just figure it at that point how we will do those 6 stitches. Will I have more? Will I have less? We'll figure it out at the end. So this makes it an easy way to customize any size of the band you want. But if you end up with stitches that are divisible by 6, your job is much easier. All right, and then we chain 2, and into that last stitch that we went through the back post of, next to it we will do a single crochet so we can lock our chain there, and then we'll chain 2 again, and we'll start going through the back posts of the next 6 double crochets, and then we'll chain 2, and then we'll go into that space next to the last double crochet we just used. Okay, so yarn over one time, go through the back of the loop, and then yarn over through the first 2 loops, and you keep it on your hook. Yarn over one more time, go through the back post, keep it on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, and keep the new loop on your hook. Okay. And then let's see how many we have. We have 4 so far. We need 6. And having those, the back side and the front side of those stitches makes that little balconies. They are like little terraces that they look like. All right, so we have 6 stitches here, and then the one loop from the chain, we yarn over one time, and we go through all of the loops, and then we lock that with a yarn over and pull through. All right, so here are our first little stitches. They are like little balconies or terraces or even little baskets. Okay, and we chain 2 and we go next to that last double crochet we just used and do a single crochet and you lock your chain there, and then we go all around and then again chain 2 through the back post of the next 6 double crochets. We'll do so we pull through the first 2 loops and we keep the stitch on our crochet hook. Then we'll do one more and then through the next double crochet there, and then we need 2 more. Of course, if you use crochet hooks that don't have handles and your yarn is quite thick, it will work better probably, or you just have to make sure your loops stay there and you can count them easily. So 3 and 3 and then 1. Okay, and then we pull through all of them again, we lock the top stitch and we chain 2 and then we do a single crochet next to that balcony we just did. So there, that these ridges are thanks to those double crochets we work from the back side, from the inside of our hat. And we keep going and I'll meet you at the end. So I'm here at the last stitches and it looks like I have 2, 4, 6, 8 stitches left. So I'll just use them all and go through the back loops of them all, or I can go back 1 and then I can make 7, 7. Yeah, that's what I will do. I will get the last one there. These are all my 6 stitches here. Then I'll make 1 more through the back loop here. Then I'll have 7 in this case, so I can have 7 in the last one. But if you don't end up in that weird number, then you're all good to go. Or you can just have planned it and you just could have had all the numbers that are divisible by 6 here. But if it doesn't line up, well, that's not a big deal. You just do your own thing. So now I have 7 stitches left here, and then I'll do the same thing. I'll go through the back loop of all of them. We'll just repeat those 2 rows till the end of the hat. And then 1 more. And the last one. There we go through all of them. Chain 2. And then we'll go back into that beginning space we have there. Pull through your hook through that stitch. That's the base of the chain 2 for the beginning. Do a slip stitch there. So this is our second row of the repeat. Now we'll do the first row again. And we will turn our hat and we'll work on it now from the inside. So we'll turn our hat, we'll work on the inside, and we'll grab our working yarn, and we'll slip stitch into that space here so we can bring our yarn to the correct space. Well, I'll go ahead and I will weave in this end over here because it's bothering me. All right, so here it is. Yeah, I don't want it to be in my face anymore. There. And now that I'm in that space, chain 2, and then we'll put three double crochets into each chain we did. All right, so in that first chain, we did a chain 2, which we're gonna count as a double crochet, and then we're gonna put 2 more double crochets here into that chain space, and then we'll go into the next chain space. We'll do 3 double crochets, and now I hope you see the pattern here. We'll have those 6, 6, all those stitches ready for the next row to be bunched up. And we go with the next cluster here. 3 double crochets in that chain space. And because we are working on the inside of the hat, the back side of those double crochets are actually facing the right side of your hat, and that's what lets it make those little ridges here. All right, so we keep going till the end and making just double crochets into each chain space. Okay, and then we find the next one and we go in there, and I'll catch you when I'm done. So here at the last double crochet, and now I'm gonna connect to the beginning of the row, slip stitch through that top of the first chain here, and now since I worked on the inside of the hat, now I will turn it and I'll be working from the right side of the hat. And so in order to alternate my terraces that they don't stack on top of each other, I want them to slide one over to be like in the middle of each other. I will with slip stitches, I'll go to that middle over here. So I will slip through the top of these double crochets. I'll go into the stitch and I'll do a slip stitch. Then I'll go into the next one and I'll do a slip stitch. And then one more time and I'll do a slip stitch here. And then into that space, after those first 3 slip stitches, I'll do a 1 slip stitch there so I can do my chain. So chain 2, and then we are repeating again the second row we did. Well, we'll be doing those clusters here. So yarn over and we are going again through the back loops of our stitches, and then we'll keep them there and then we'll gather them together for 6 stitches again, and there we are. Now it's make it very easy to keep track of your stitches because they come 3 by 3. So now you gather 6 stitches together. You can see them here. They were 3 by 3. And when you pull your loop through all of them and you lock and you chain 2, you're gonna go into that space and then put a single crochet there. And now here your stitches are gathered again to make that little pocket or a terrace or a balcony. It looks to me like little balconies here. So there it is, and they are, the top one is in the middle of the bottom two ones. And there it is. So the next one, we start again with chain 2, and we're gonna go through the back loops of the next 6 double crochets, and here we'll put our single crochet after the chain 2, and then we'll go all around, and these are the 2 rows we repeat the row with the double crochets, but we do it on the inside of the hat, and then we gather them 6 by 6 on the second row, but we do it from the right side of your hat. So make sure when you connect your sides, you flip over and work on them alternating the sides of your hat. And this is how it's gonna look like when it's stretched a bit on your head, so you can control how much stretch you want. And of course you can do any ribbing you like. You might want to do a whole chain here, just the size of your head, and do through the back post of the double crochets and do ridges like that, or you can work it this way. It's up to you. You can even knit the band and then crochet the top. That's also doable. So you can go crazy here. You have so many alternatives to this pattern, and of course any colors you can use. You can use the 2 different colors for both of the rows. So yeah, that is a 2-row repeat, but make sure you stay on the opposite sides of your hat when you do them. And I'll catch you when I'm done with my rows. Okay, so I'm done with my rows. So I have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows of terraces, so 12 rows of crocheting, which makes it a smaller size adult or a teen smaller size hat, because my band measures about 10 inches, even less than stretched. I give it a tiny bit stretch here, and 20 inches, between 20 to 21 inches is a small adult hat or small teen adult hat. And the head circumference will be between 20 and 23 inches, but the hat will be between 20 to 21 inches because it has some stretch there. And the length of the hat should be 8 inches. I measure it without the band, but because I want it more like a slouchy hat, more like a beanie. So from the band to the end of this row, I have 6 inches, and I'll have another 2 where I'll decrease a bit so I can gather the top, and I'm pretty much done. So if you're making a large adult hat, for head circumference between 20 to 24 inches, your band will be between 21 and 23 inches. So go about an inch less than your head circumference. And then the length of the hat will be between 8.5 and 9 inches. So if you want it a little bit longer, more on a slouchy side, you can go a couple of more inches long. But these are pretty much the guidelines I go by. And of course I measure it on my head. I have a smaller head, so I go for a smaller adult size hat, especially for the band. I mean, the top could be bigger, and it depends on the look you're going for, but the band definitely can be according to your head. One thing I'll go differently for the next hat is make that band foldable. I'll go twice as long, maybe 20 stitches, and I'll be able to fold it because I like the look of a folded brim. But even like this is good. So that's another idea there. And of course, make it the way you like it. You don't have to follow a pattern exactly the same. You have to make it your own. You have to put something from your soul. All right. So now I'm here at the last gathering of my terraces. I will flip my hat over so I can work on the inside, and instead of going now 3 double crochets into each chain space we have here, we'll do only 2 double crochets, and I'll do a slip stitch into my first chain space, do chain 2 and the first double crochet, and I will count my chain 2 as a double crochet. So into the next chain space, I'll do 2 double crochets again. And that's how I'll go around. Instead of 3, I'll do 2 in each space. And then instead of gathering 6 stitches together, we'll gather only 4. And it will make a smaller terrace there. And the hat will get smaller on top. All right, so I'll meet you when I'm done. All right, so here I am back. This row went much faster now that we have to do only 2 double crochets in each spot. So I will go into the first chain stitch I have here. I'll grab my working yarn and do a slip stitch. And now I can flip my hat over, turn it, and then we'll do those little terraces, but with only 4 stitches. And I'll walk again my yarn here to the middle so they can still stack on top of each other into that the same way. And into that first space I go. Chain 2 again. And now we will do the double crochets through the back post. But we'll do only 4 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yarn over and pull through all of your stitches waiting on the hook. Chain through them and then chain 2 more. And there, we have a smaller size now. And then we'll go all around and finish all of the terraces. And I'll meet you back here. Oh, and we still chain 2. And then we go into that space between the terraces, and then we do a single crochet there with our chain. So we can still create those chain spaces. Okay, I'm still working. All right, so I'm done here at the last one. I'll find the last stitch, do a slip stitch through that last place, and then I will not gonna turn anymore. I will just keep going into the same direction here forward, and I will stay at the front of my hat. So I will not gonna be working from the back. So chain 2 for that space here, and it really doesn't matter because we will be going only 1 double crochet into each chain 2 space. All right, so here we'll put 1 double crochet, then I'll move to the next chain 2 space and I'll put 1 double crochet. Then I'll go into the next chain space and I'll put 1 double crochet, and then all around. So that will be the last row we crochet here. And because I'm gonna cinch it on top, we're not gonna have that many spaces here visible at least. All right, and I'll meet you at the end. So here is the last one. I'll go through the top of that last stitch and I'll pull a slip stitch through here so I can finish my row. I'll put one more chain to secure my stitch, make a long thread, cut it off, and then remove the rest of your yarn. And now we'll use this tail to close the hat. Get your tapestry needle and then go through each stitch. I'm going under those stitches we have here so you can cinch your hat. So now we'll just cinch the top and then put your needle through the middle inside the hat, and then you will be able to go through a few of the stitches and secure that knot there. There we go. And then weave in the ends, and this is how it looks. Okay, so you can use the pom-pom that you made, or you can use a store-bought pom-pom. So because this turned out quite big and I didn't like it much, but I like the contrast of those two colors a lot, so I think I'll use this as my pom-pom for this hat.